India, the land of sacred rivers, is no stranger to ambitious infrastructure projects. But what happens when these grand visions turn into financial nightmares? Enter the Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project, a colossal endeavor designed to quench the thirst of Telangana's farmlands. Initially pegged at a cool 38,500 crore rupees, the project's cost has ballooned to over 80,000 crore rupees, leaving the state drowning in a river of debt. That's right, folks, the cost has more than doubled. It's like ordering a pizza and being handed a bill for a yacht. This begs the question, where did all the money go? Was it simply poor planning, or is there something more sinister lurking beneath the surface? Join us as we wade through the murky waters of the Kaleshwaram Project, exploring the financial mismanagement, planning lapses, and the impact on the state's coffers and its people. This isn't just about numbers on a balance sheet, it's about the lives of farmers who depend on this project for their livelihoods. It's about the future of Telangana, a state grappling with the burden of a project that seems to have gone off the rails. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the Kaleshwaram Project. And let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. Let's start with the basics. Funding. You see, any major project needs a solid financial foundation, a clear plan for where the money is coming from. But the Kaleshwaram Project seems to have skipped that memo. Instead of securing proper government orders for funding, the project relied heavily on off-budget borrowing, essentially racking up debt like a teenager with their first credit card. Now, off-budget borrowing is like taking a payday loan. It might seem like a quick fix, but the interest rates can cripple you in the long run. In this case, the off-budget borrowings for the project have reached astronomical levels, adding a massive burden to the state's already strained finances. It's like trying to pay off your mortgage with your kid's piggy bank. It's just not going to end well. But it gets worse. The lack of transparency surrounding these borrowings raises serious concerns about accountability. Where did all this money come from? Who authorized these loans? These are questions that demand answers, but answers that seem to be lost in a labyrinth of bureaucratic red tape. The Kaleshwaram Project's funding model is a textbook example of how not to manage a major infrastructure project. It's a cautionary tale of financial recklessness, short-sighted planning, and a blatant disregard for the long-term economic health of the state. And as we'll see, the consequences of this financial mismanagement are far-reaching. Remember that initial price tag of 38,500 crore rupees? Well, that's about as accurate as a weather forecast in a hurricane. The project's costs have skyrocketed, exceeding 80,000 crore rupees, and there's no telling when the bleeding will stop. It's like going to the grocery store for a gallon of milk and coming out with a year's supply of caviar, completely unnecessary and wildly expensive. This dramatic increase in cost raises serious questions about the project's benefit-cost ratio. Is the potential benefit of irrigating farmland worth the exorbitant cost? The numbers suggest otherwise. The low benefit-cost ratio indicates that the project might not even be economically viable, making it a colossal waste of taxpayer money. It's like investing in a lemonade stand in the Arctic. Sure, it's an idea, but a terrible one. So what's driving this cost escalation? Some experts point to the lack of proper planning and feasibility studies. Others allege that the project was rushed through without adequate consideration for cost effectiveness. And let's not forget the potential for corruption, with whispers of inflated contracts and kickbacks echoing through the corridors of power. The Kaleshwaram Project is a stark reminder that ambition must be tempered with pragmatism. The pursuit of grand visions should not come at the expense of sound financial management. And when the price of thirst becomes an unbearable burden on the state, it's time to ask some tough questions about the true cost of this ambitious endeavor. Moving water uphill requires a tremendous amount of energy. It's basic physics, folks. And the Kaleshwaram Project, with its complex network of pumps and lifts, is a veritable energy monster. It guzzles electricity like a frat boy at a beer pong tournament, putting a massive strain on the state's power grid. This insatiable thirst for energy translates into hefty electricity bills, further exacerbating the financial burden of the project. It's like buying a gas-guzzling Hummer and then complaining about the price of gas. The energy demands of the project are simply unsustainable in the long run, creating a financial black hole that threatens to swallow the state's resources. But it's not just about the cost of electricity. The project's energy demands also raise concerns about its environmental impact. The massive consumption of electricity contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, undermining the state's efforts to promote clean energy. It's a classic case of environmental hypocrisy, touting the benefits of irrigation while ignoring the environmental costs of powering the project. The energy dilemma highlights the importance of considering the long-term sustainability of infrastructure projects. The Kaleshwaram Project, with its insatiable appetite for power, is a cautionary tale of how short-sighted planning can lead to unintended consequences, both financial and environmental. It's like building a giant treadmill, forcing everyone to run on it, and then wondering why everyone is tired and sweaty. Section 5. Planning for peanuts, the absence of comprehensive financial planning. Imagine building a house without a blueprint. Chaos, right? That's essentially what happened with the Kaleshwaram project. The project was launched without a comprehensive financial plan, a roadmap outlining the estimated costs, funding sources, and a clear strategy for managing expenses. It's like embarking on a road trip with no map, no GPS, and a vague idea of where you're headed. Spoiler alert, you're going to get lost. This lack of planning is evident in the project's haphazard funding model, the reliance on off-budget borrowing, and the failure to anticipate the escalating costs. It's a classic case of winging it, and as we've seen, the consequences are disastrous. It's like trying to bake a cake without a recipe, just throwing ingredients together and hoping for the best. Spoiler alert, you're going to end up with a culinary abomination. The absence of a comprehensive financial plan is a fundamental flaw that has plagued the Kaleshwaram project from the outset. It's a testament to the lack of foresight, the disregard for sound financial management, and the prioritization of political expediency over prudent planning. It's like trying to solve a complex math problem by guessing the answer. It might work occasionally, but it's not a sustainable strategy. The Kaleshwaram project is a stark reminder that infrastructure projects, especially those of this magnitude, demand meticulous planning. Without a clear roadmap, these projects are doomed to veer off course, leaving a trail of financial and social wreckage in their wake. It's like trying to perform surgery without studying anatomy. You might get lucky, but chances are you're going to cause a lot of unnecessary damage. Section 6. Haste makes waste. Undue benefits and questionable practices. Time is money, they say, but when it comes to major infrastructure projects, haste can lead to waste, and a whole lot of it. The Kaleshwaram project was executed with a sense of urgency that raised eyebrows and fueled suspicions. Contracts were awarded swiftly, deadlines were tight, and corners were cut, all in the name of expediency. It's like trying to cram for a final exam the night before. You might pass, but you're not going to retain much information. This undue haste created an environment ripe for exploitation. Some contractors allegedly received undue benefits, with whispers of inflated bids and questionable practices swirling around the project. This rush to completion also compromised the quality of work, leading to potential structural issues and operational inefficiencies. It's like building a house with duct tape and popsicle sticks. It might stand for a while, but it's going to fall apart sooner or later. The Kaleshwaram project is a cautionary tale of how haste can undermine the integrity of a project, compromising quality, transparency, and accountability. It's a reminder that infrastructure projects require meticulous planning, careful execution, and a commitment to upholding the highest standards of ethical conduct. It's like trying to run a marathon without training. You might make it to the finish line, but you're going to be in a world of pain. The undue haste surrounding the Kaleshwaram project is a symptom of a larger problem: the prioritization of speed over substance, the willingness to sacrifice quality for expediency, and the erosion of accountability in the pursuit of political gains. It's a trend that needs to be reversed if we want to ensure that public infrastructure projects serve the best interests of the people. It's like trying to microwave a Thanksgiving turkey. Sure, it's faster, but it's going to be a dry, flavorless mess. Section 7. The ripple effect impact on state finances and local communities. The Kaleshwaram Project's financial woes are not confined to balance sheets and spreadsheets. They have real-world consequences rippling through the state's economy and impacting local communities. The massive debt incurred for the project has strained the state's finances, limiting its ability to invest in other essential services like education, healthcare, and social welfare. It's like maxing out your credit cards and then realizing you can't afford groceries. The project's impact on local communities is equally concerning. Farmers, who were promised a lifeline through irrigation, are now burdened with rising water tariffs and the uncertainty of a project that may not deliver on its promises. The environmental consequences of the project, including deforestation and water pollution, further threaten the livelihoods of local communities. It's like promising someone a gourmet meal and serving them a bowl of instant ramen. It's not what they signed up for, and it's not going to sustain them in the long run. The Kaleshwaram Project is a stark reminder that infrastructure projects should not be pursued in isolation. They must be integrated into a broader development strategy that considers the economic, social, and environmental well-being of the state and its people. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. It's not going to end well for anyone involved. The project's ripple effects underscore the importance of a holistic approach to development, one that prioritizes sustainable growth, equitable distribution of resources, and the protection of the environment. The Kaleshwaram Project, with its far-reaching consequences, is a testament to the interconnectedness of economic, social, and environmental issues, and the need for a more nuanced and integrated approach to development. Section 8. Conclusion: A bridge to nowhere. The Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project, once hailed as a beacon of progress, now stands as a monument to financial mismanagement, planning lapses, and the perils of unchecked ambition. The project's ballooning costs, questionable benefit-cost ratio, and the lack of transparency surrounding its funding have raised serious concerns about the viability and sustainability of this colossal endeavor. It's like building a bridge to nowhere, impressive from a distance, but ultimately pointless. The project's impact on the state's finances, the environment, and local communities is a stark reminder that infrastructure projects should not be pursued at any cost. Sound financial management, meticulous planning, and a commitment to transparency and accountability are essential for ensuring that these projects deliver on their promises and serve the best interests of the people. It's like trying to fly a plane without knowing how to land. It might be exhilarating for a while, but it's going to end in disaster. The Kaleshwaram Project is a cautionary tale for governments across India and beyond. It highlights the dangers of prioritizing political expediency over prudent planning, the perils of unchecked ambition, and the need for greater scrutiny and oversight in the execution of large-scale infrastructure projects. It's like building a house of cards. It might look impressive for a moment, but it's going to collapse with the slightest breeze. The future of the Kaleshwaram Project remains uncertain. Will it deliver on its promise of irrigating farmlands and boosting agricultural production? Or will it continue to be a financial drain, a burden on the state's coffers, and a source of hardship for local communities? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear: the Kaleshwaram Project serves as a stark reminder that the pursuit of progress must be grounded in sound financial management, meticulous planning, and an unwavering commitment to transparency and accountability. It's like playing Jenga with the state's economy. One wrong move, and the whole thing comes crashing down.